What's up?
Pussycat?
Whoa! Welcome back to the Serious Podcast, or rather the Mad Play Podcast, Serious Sam edition. I'm decisively going to rebrand this entire show that we do going forward. It's going to make things more cohesive and easier to follow. But anyway, this is, I'm going to say it right now, the last episode of the Serious Sam podcast. That is because all that's left is the final boss. We had a bit of a taster of the final boss last time, but this time it's for all the money, for all the moolah.
And all for the wrong reasons.
What I'm trying to say is that we will not have as much time to talk about our topics of choice, because we will have to focus on killing this giant buffalo man, bull man, minotaur man.
Well, I mean, I have really nothing to bring to the table this week, honestly, other than the fact I watched the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes, well, we can talk about that later, but for now we have a boss to kill. We cannot spend the entire time in this one silent arena.
I mean, we could do if we really wanted to.
I don't want to.
Raise the tension of it. Hi there. I see you're the cyber demon mixed with Goro.
Oh yes, he is the cyber demon mixed with Goro, isn't he?
Though I bet you people be all Mortal Kombat fans be all like, Kitaro's better.
I am not getting into that.
Yeah, I know, I'm kidding with you.
But yes, that's definitely the cyber demon from Doom. With 4 arms. That's a nice homage. It took me 20 years to realize it, but here we are at last. Better late than never, I say.
It's a lovely time to be alive, I say.
Happy Pride Month, everybody. This podcast will come out next month when Pride Month is over, because our times are entirely messed up. And he died instantly, so that really puts an exclamation point to what I was just saying.
Well, this is what's to expect from me as a gamer who's basically trying to figure out how to get through a thing.
I do like that Shatner inflection you had going on for a second there. This is what to expect from me as a gamer.
All unintentional, my friend. All unintentional.
All unintentional, my friend. Right, so Devar, you need to figure out how not to die, if you please.
I would like not to die.
Can we have a cup of not to die, please? With a side dish of cookies and breadcrumbs.
Okay, I need to get rid. Oh!
And in the meantime, the buffaloes are just circumnavigating your entire planet and just hitting you from behind. This is the second time in a row they did
I've-
that, by the way. They are a problem.
They are a very big problem in this game. Okay. Stupid problematic bulls.
Well, they are such
cancel.
bull, let me tell you.
Next thing they'll be telling us that real women need to look pretty in video games.
Devar, I've seen your rant on Twitter, and I do believe you have something more to say to bring to the table tonight, as I was expecting you would.
Not really, I was just making a slight joke
Yes.
on that point.
So my
because-
policy when it comes to the occasional sexist lick spitting his way into an attention-grabbing tweet is to just ignore them, because giving them attention, whatever attention they might want, is a waste of your time, and that's exactly what they want. So
Well, that's why I didn't quote retweet the tweet
you
that
sort
I
of
saw.
contributed to the
so-
discourse, though, because that was the man of the hour on Twitter, so everybody knows of what you were talking about.
Well, yeah, but still, I decided not to be a part of that, in that way, because. But yeah, I just basically I run on the whole ideal that basically any man or woman can be as manly or feminine as they want, as long as they're being themselves.
Gender is a societal construction, a fabrication from the patriarchy, which is based entirely on chromosomes and anatomy, and that really doesn't apply with modern scientific studies on the matter, because gender is a spectrum and not a strict binary biology or whatever it is some people want it to be. Identity, that's what gender is.
I just don't believe gender should be considered like you're a man, so you shouldn't cry, and you shouldn't
This is
be
even
allowed
more
to have
superficial than
emotions.
that. If you are a woman, you're supposed to have womanly features designed to titillate me, a cis heterosexual man. So let me correct your course, game designer, by making this woman who doesn't look womanly enough in my Sigma opinion, or whatever it is that's the flavor of the month. Sigma, Gamma, Beta, Zeta, whatever it is that these people are on about. Let me correct this course of yours, and there, now I make this woman perfectly appealing to me specifically. And what is considered appealing to me, a random heterosexual, probably white man on the internet, is the universal appeal we should all strive for. Higher funds, game developers. I make your characters, your female characters, objectively worse in every possible way with my terrible, misogynistic, narrow-minded ideas of gender and presentation.
Jeez, this is becoming a mess.
Yes.
Well, but I mean, the game as well as
Yes, I think
what we're talking about.
I think this messy, idiotic, and quite frankly not even worth our time kind of discourse is somewhat emphasized by how messy the gameplay is right now. So in a way, they could be considered companion pieces. Whenever I think of you killing down a buffalo or two, I think of certain people who might be better off not being on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really contributing much anyway.
Well, Twitter, you could say this about all social media, but Twitter in particular is such a hell site of toxic conglomeration of bad takes brought up by an algorithm that really favors that sort of negativity, that sort of obsessive, compulsory, emphatic, exaggerated toxicity. Yes.
Yeah. basically it's trying to bring up the most ridiculous people just to basically make it so that, because no one wants good news or good people to be represented. They just want the awful people to be represented. Negativity sells.
Even in the case of good news, there is no room for moderation, only extremes. And that really facilitates the radicalization, political and social radicalization of certain groups of people. Because I have seen cases in which the worst possible people in privileged positions of power might complain about cancel culture without ever really being affected by cancel culture. And then I've seen mobs of people sort of assaulting other people in much less positions of privilege that get cancelled for the most ludicrous and unfair reasons, so to speak. And this could happen to you! This is my Reefer Madness 2021. Right, so I just realized that when this video comes out, inevitably, 2 years from now, thanks Devar, by the way, nobody will have any idea of what we're talking about at this moment in time, because these things happen daily on Twitter. Weekly at best. So this will be forgotten in about a week, and then something else will be the new protagonist of Twitter, so to speak. The new arc, the new arc in the Shonen Jump manga begins.
The new... oh god.
Yes. Okay, Devar, have you learned anything about this particular fight, or do you keep making the same mistakes? I see you're making the same mistakes.
Cannonball!
When in doubt, cannonball.
I mean, what else am I to do?
I believe they keep on coming up until you kill the boss, too. So that's a problem.
Ah. Go away. Ah, bugger. I went the wrong way. Ah!
If I had a nickel for every time you said that.
What? For saying ah?
No, I went the wrong way. If I had a nickel for every time you said ah, I would be a millionaire.
Oh, come on, I only just got there. I became part of the problem, not
I become a Judas in my mind.
Okay, let's see if we can actually, make a difference here.
Make a difference, he says.
I mean, I would like to. Ow.
This is going worse.
Well, it's just that there's both, the guys with the lasers and the balls at the same time, so...
It's almost as if this is the final stage.
Let me grab this armor.
Oh boy. So, this entire stage is called the Great Pyramid. But all this time you were yet to actually enter the Great Pyramid.
Because that's how it works, right? Oh! What hit me?
What hit me? That's the story of my life.
Yeah, definitely the story of everyone's lives, is it not? He's taller than Lady D.
For some reason, I don't want him to step on me.
No, I don't want that either, honestly.
I may be biased.
Yeah, I might be a bit biased. I don't react well to evil all that much.
Well, Devar, you see, there is evil, but then there's also evil. There are layers, you see. Evil creatures are like orcs, are like onions. They have layers. Oh my gosh, Shrek is 20 years old this year.
Oh god, it reminds me of those memes now where basically, where you get shown the game that you think is 20 years old and then you're shown what actually was released 20 years ago.
Yes, the perception of time is a nasty mistress, let me tell you.
Yeah, it is.
Also, do you want to feel ancient right now?
I've already felt ancient already with
But no, do you want to feel more ancient?
Damn it, I walked into that one. Okay, what is it?
Sonic 2006 is 15 years old right now.
Yes.
When Sonic 2006 came out 15 years ago, the original Sonic was 15 years old at the time.
Right.
I want to say this to Ross and gauge his reaction. It's time to eat my spinach. You tend to get down to business and kill the Huns. I think it's time to focus on the boss.
Yes. Ah, no. It wasn't
not.
time. It wasn't time. It
wasn't
wasn't
time.
time!
It wasn't time! It wasn't Vader time! Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
They just keep on coming!
Ah, the game choked slightly for a moment. Oh my gosh, no. Stop that.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You're almost at the Great Pyramid.
I only just got there too.
I think I saw a heart. Yes, there's a heart! Get it! Quickly!
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Ah, big ship!
Ah! He's calling reinforcements! Oh.
Ah, it just feels like an absolute eternity to get there.
Yes, I think that's the point. Might I suggest to save midway through that?
Are you kidding? Oh my god, can you imagine trying to get through this? Take a cannonball to the face! I need that armor. Need that armor. Don't care what anyone says. I need it to live.
Have you watched anything interesting?
That's what I'm trying to think of really right now. If there was anything interesting I watched at all, because oh, you're still alive? How about no? I do not want you living.
Okay, so this might take a while, so I might as well bring up some topics of discussion
yes,
that
please
I've
do.
been pondering about. Recently, as in a couple of days ago from this recording, for the first time I've watched the 1998 TV adaptation of Herman Melville's Moby Dick.
Really?
Yes, really.
How'd that
I
go?
watched that. First of all, have you watched that one?
Depends, because
It's the one with Patrick Stewart as Captain Ahab.
that's the thing. I might have seen it, considering it's British. But well, considering it has Patrick Stewart in it.
Yes, it's not British and it's not a British production. I think it's partly Australian. if I'm not mistaken. But it is ultimately a TV production of 1998, which means that aside from some good costumes and sets, it has a sadly economic TV staging that doesn't really look interesting. But I believe that of all the available adaptations and versions of the classic Moby Dick novel, this one is the most loyal to the source material. To absolutely a fault, I would say. They wanted to include as much material as possible from the book, within reason, because there were entire chapters in Moby Dick. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there were in fact entire chapters dedicated to Chow and to tying the perfect sailor's knot. Melville was paid by the word, after all. It's true, I'm not making this up. Writers in the 19th century were another breed entirely. This TV adaptation that I watched was 3 hours long in total. It was divided into 2 parts, 90 minutes each. It's very much akin to the Stephen King's It production from almost a decade prior to that one. Somewhat cheaper though. Or at least it looked somewhat cheaper. The whale is mostly CGI and you see it from a distance. When it's CGI, when it's closed up, I think it's a somewhat animatronic model, but you mostly only see the upper fin of the sperm whale. There are a lot of shortcuts when it comes to the use of its budget. But that's not what you want to hear about. You want to hear about the acting in this. It's Herman Melville's Moby Dick, loyally adapted as much as it is possible, with dialogues taken straight from the source material, which means that they require a certain kind of performance and intonation. The miniseries definitely delivers. Although none of the actors in it chew the scenery quite as hard and beautifully as Gregory Peck in the role of the father who recites the Jonah soliloquy in the first act, which is interesting for 2 reasons. Gregory Peck was the lead actor of the 1956 adaptation of Moby Dick, when he played the leading role of Captain Ahab. In here, It's more akin to a cameo. And secondly, the parable of Jonah, as you, I'm sure, know, is about the arrogance of man defying God and getting yourself swallowed by a whale for your trouble. Okay, so Moby Dick, very much at the time, was meant to be a sort of modern reinterpretation of the parable of Jonah. Very much a religious allegory, a parable of hubris and arrogance, and the blasphemy of going against nature itself, thus defying the law of God, which is what Ahab does, which is what Jonah did too. So there is a very obvious parallel, a very obvious theming, very much established earlier on.
I like how the cannonballs defy the law of gravity by going
against the laws of God and nature. But even without the religious angle, I still like what Moby Dick teaches us about not just arrogance, but about toxic masculinity and cults of personality. Because by the end of it, Ahab has pretty much dragged the entire crew of his ship down within, literally down within the depths of the ocean.
Oh no.
And for the most part, they were all blindly following him, intoxicated by his hubris. That's where the expression of chasing the white whale comes from. The whale symbolizes the hubris of man. which is fated to drag you down with it. It's going to be the instrument of your own downfall. Moby Dick is also akin to an unstoppable force of nature, hence the more religious angle of the parable. Because man, in its hubris, goes against God and the laws of nature. But like I said, the part about the toxicity of Ahab's ego really resonates with most, if not all, the issues we have in modern times with people in positions of power creating cults of personalities around them. That's a lesson that we as a culture, as a society, simply refuse to learn, apparently.
Yes, especially for the sake of progress.
But anyway, I think the mini-series is interesting in its own right. Sadly, Patrick Stewart as Ahab doesn't really pan out well to me. You wouldn't expect that from Patrick Stewart, but I think his performance is all over the place, and not in a good, hammy way. As in, the moments in which he speaks on a normal voice, normal inclination, it just sounds like Patrick Stewart playing Patrick Stewart, aka Jean-Luc Picard. Mr. Starbuck? By the way, that's the name of the first mate of the Pequod, the ship in Moby Dick. Actually, Mr. Starbuck. Mr. Starbuck? Oh, I'm
Mr.
going to
Starbuck.
touch the wheel, Mr. Starbuck. There are the bits in which he begins shouting, because the performance calls for shouting to the heavens, and it just sounds comical. And it just sounds too comical there. The whale, Mr. Starbuck! The whale! He stands up like a sore thumb compared to the much more consistent acting of the rest of the cast, really. Except for, I believe, one moment. There is one moment about Patrick Stewart's performance right towards the end that I believe is the moment in which he really shines as a character. He really shines as Ahab. And that would be the monologue in which he almost comes to the realization of what he had become. And he almost comes to his senses before the whale appears again, and at that point is completely beyond salvation. That was good. That really humanizes the character, more so than anything before. But I do believe that, to me personally, the best played character in the miniseries was the first mate. Again, Mr. Starbuck. Because the role of Mr. Starbuck is the one of the God-fearing voice of reason. He knows that Ahab is losing his mind in the obsessive research of the whale, and he tries to stop him. He tries to reason with him every step of the way. He also tries to convince the rest of the crew that the captain is going mad. And then there is his own slow descent into madness when he has to contend with the realization that all of his efforts to prevent the tragedy from happening are in vain. He is a man constantly torn between his faith towards God and his loyalty to the laws of man, which would prevent him from striking against his own captain. He's a highly moral individual stuck in a position in which his own morality is detrimental to his necessity to do the right thing. And that is inherently very interesting to analyze, and I think the actor did a really good job in conveying that emotional turmoil that the character is going through. By the way, how much do you know about Moby Dick?
Just the basics, really, of the story.
So you do know that everybody dies in the end except for Ishmael, which is essentially there to be the audience's proxy for the story.
Yes, I know that much at least.
Ishmael is about as interesting as a character as you would expect him to be, which is to say he's barely a character at all already in the book, so he's barely a character in the series. He doesn't even have a single interaction with the captain, and he stops being relevant as soon as we actually meet Ahab, and the story is mostly told from his and Mr. Starbuck's point of view.
Okay.
And now for the problematic aspect of this loyal adaptation. In that, again, this was a novel written in the 19th century, and as you know, there are characters in this novel who are not white,
Yes.
such as Quickwood, which was first introduced as a savage and potentially a cannibal from the point of view of Ishmael, before he became friends with him. Sadly, this adaptation from 1998 decides to go the full-on savage route with Quickwood. I'll give credit to the actor because he poured his soul into the role, regardless of how racially dicey it was. And he makes the character likable in spite of its issues. In spite of the many issues that he has as a character. Once again, I remind you, Quickwood was the 19th century's white man's idea of an islander.
Oh, come on.
So it's not perfect. It has pacing issues because it wants to have as many scenes from the book relevant to the story in it, and it's 3 hours long in total because it's a miniseries, a TV miniseries. And of course there are all the non-white actors playing all those poorly aged roles, shall we say.
Yeah.
So that's what I watched recently. I don't know why I suddenly decided to get myself invested into Moby Dick media, but here I am. I might go back to watch the 1956 adaptation of Herman Melville's book, because I'm curious to see how Gregory Peck, in the prime of his life and career, interprets Captain Ahab. When you get down to it, this boss fight is pretty dull, boring, and tedious.
Incredibly.
Yes. The problem with very large-sized bosses in first-person shooters is that, yes, they look impressive, but they are almost never actually interesting as boss fights. Are they now?
No, they're not. Not really, no. Oh, hello.
You could have gone inside this whole time?
Apparently so. I did not realize this. I just saw the door open. I'm like, what? Hello, what's this?
I think this is second round, baby.
I hope I've not wasted all that bullets for nothing.
I guess we'll see.
Hello. Is this a button? Oh no, it's a pedestal. Are we going to destroy the spaceship? I would like to destroy the spaceship, please. And end the game.
I think the game has overstated its welcome.
It certainly has, honestly.
As I said before, once you played a Serious Sam game, you've played them all. So you might as well just do the first encounter and nothing
And
else.
never return.
And never return.
Yeah. I mean, you have seen where it's gone to now, right? Serious Sam 4.
I don't care.
Exactly.
It's more of the same with objectively worse contrivances and tropes derived from modern video game conventions.
Exactly.
This will now open the door to the actual real final boss fight, and keep an ear out for the soundtrack used for the final fight, because it might sound familiar at some point.
Can I have health and armor, please? I would like it all back, so I can do this.
Hopefully you can. But I think this final fight had a particular gimmick to it, so it won't be as important for you to have much in terms of ammunition, I believe.
Okay, I'm in
Well,
this platform area.
this looks like an arena fit for a fight.
I hate this already. Oh, health, health, health.
It sure is nice of the game to leave that health bar as it is. Ah, there it is! There it is!
Hello. Oh, ammo pack.
Does this sound familiar to you?
I'm trying to think really right now.
Da 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 da. It's the Phantom of the Opera.
Right. I did wonder.
It's a great unexpected use of that one famous tune from the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, I should have. If I knew this was here, this would have told me.
Daisy.
Get inside
Honestly,
the pyramid.
I'm sorry, it's also my fault. I did not remember you could just skip that entire first phase and get into the second phase. Although, if there is one advantage to this, is that you've already whittled away most of his health bar.
Now you have to find a way to activate the teleporting beam. I am not sure, but the beam could be deadly.
Damn it, Scotty, I'm a doctor, not an alien hunter.
Arrescate! I would like to know how to deal with this.
I love this music. Okay, figuring out exactly what to do might be a hurdle. I wish I could help you, but I frankly don't remember how I dealt with this boss at the time. It's been 20 years.
Okay, let me see that. Oh, that's... I wonder if that's how I do it.
Okay, maybe you actually need to enter each and every ring. Shoot him in the crotch.
I would hope so. Hi there, big oaf! I tried to do that and it doesn't seem affected by it.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. There is a light at the foot of the giant. You see, there is a small platform at the foot of the giant.
Yes.
Maybe you need to interact with that.
Let's go take a look at it then. No?
Maybe you need to interact with it once you have entered all the rings. It's worth a shot.
Well, what else what can I lose? Though, mind you, this fight is a bastard, though. Even Unreal Tournament strategy doesn't work on this thing.
Unreal Tournament strategy.
Yeah, just basically just jump.
Yes, I know. I know. Oh, because when you enter the circles, the lights above them, you see those triangles above the circles. Yeah. When you enter the circles, the lights on those triangles turn on. So you are activating the teleportation ray or something. You are doing something you're supposed to do.
I hate when he does the lightning thing, because there's no way to avoid it as far as I know.
And once you have activated them all, I think that's when you have to interact with that circle that's dangerously close to him.
Oh, something's going on.
Yes! It's that! It's what I told it would happen. Okay, so I think he needs to be under it, though. That's the problem.
Oh, goody.
I think that's the gimmick. Okay, so you want him to be on top of the circle when you activate the teleportation beam. Except now you have to go through the circles again.
Oh, boy.
You will not defeat him by
spraying bullets.
Conventional means, obviously.
Obviously not, but I have to still get rid of his projectiles that I can get rid of to offset any damage he can do. This is too huge a stage.
Yes, but then again, it would be much more difficult to avoid its projectile attacks in a smaller stage. Now, would it?
Yes, but it's just Sam feels like he should be faster. Yeah.
There should be a better way to handle this. You want Sam to move as fast as Doom Guy. I get it.
It's just, it doesn't feel like he's running fast enough to offset the large arena.
Okay, so now make sure he walks over the circle. You have to goat him.
Oh, he's goaded.
Aha! It's working! It's working!
Oh, what's going on?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Wait.
I think you need to do it one more time.
Oh, no.
Yes, unfortunately.
I hate this.
Oh, you thought it was going to be easy, huh? No, it's clear that this stage was pretty much meant for you to deal with him at a full health bar. So it is possible that once you manage to get his health bar down to a certain point, he might have activated some healing function to needlessly prolong this battle. But yes, that's what you have to do. You have to do this same song and dance multiple times.
You have no idea how much I feel like this is a drag, this fight.
Yes, it is a bit of a drag.
Come on, I was hoping for health. Why you have to be so stingy?
Oh, you got him! You've got him! Come on, do more damage, damn you!
No! That's it.
Why does he do this? While he's hit with the laser, he'll be stunned, so he can't regenerate when his health is low. This is the perfect opportunity to hit him with cannonballs in order to do extra damage and finish him off.
Alright.
He automatically regenerates his health once his health is low enough. To avoid that, you have to hit him with cannonballs at his feet while he's stunned by the laser, and that is the only way you can defeat him. Also, in here it recommends going clockwise from the jump pad that faces the left wall. This makes it so that you'll face the light when going for the last ring, making it easier to lure him to the light.
Wait, why is he... He was reacting like as if he was affected by the thing.
So did you get all that?
Yes, I did. Cannonball.
Also, it suggests to go clockwise.
I don't even know which way clockwise is anymore.
It's...
I'm just guessing it's this way.
No, that's counterclockwise.
God damn it.
Okay, this is it. Bust out the cannon. Get him on top of the light. Honestly, just hit him continuously. Aim at the legs.
Come on,
Come on,
hit,
come on,
hit,
come on, come on. No! You were so close!
Okay, let's try.
You were so close. This is feasible.
Am I using the right button to run? See, strafe, look up, jump, swim up. Because I don't know why, I don't feel like I'm going fast enough, and it's like... There's no run button, is there?
Nope.
I've been pressing shift, assuming that would be
There's
the run
no
key.
run button. There never was. Meme of the astronauts.
The run is alive.
There is no run, is it? There never was, points the gun. Oh man.
Oh, was that it?
Okay.
So,
Cannonball.
okay, so
Get close. Shoot. Now shoot the leg, shoot the feet. Oh, 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 oh,
come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! You, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, balls!
Ah! Yes! Congratulations, Devar. You've beaten Serious Sam. The first encounter! Yay! It ain't the size of matter, of course. Thanks, Sam.
It wasn't worth it.
Oh boy. I guess we can put this one in the books. Geronimo!
Yeah, Geronimo.
Sure.
Geronimo, Sam. The only time I want to see you next time, Sam, will be when there's a video game crossover where it's you versus Doom Guy versus Duke Nukem versus Quake guys of all the games and whatever. First-person shooters were popular.
Sure, all of that. No Duke Nukem, please.
Hello? What's this? I hear phone.
We're sorry. It is not necessary to dial a 1 when calling this number.
What the?
Will you please hang up and try your call again?
Not again.
Is he asking for hints for the maze in Monkey Island 2?
But again, who plays this game for the story? Honestly.
You never know.
This is Serious Sam calling for mental. I'll be there soon to give it to you in person.
Is he still going?
Thanks. Bye. It's time for
He's still going. He's saying stuff, but because
Are
for
you
some
sure
reason
there
developers
isn't a
thought no
subtitles
subtitles for
option?
this.
Oh, okay.
There was a subtitles earlier with Geronimo.
And we
Well-
are done. We are done with this
We're done.
podcast.
We're done.
On to the next game, I say. We could hurl ourselves into a new long-term series with the Mad Play podcast That's how I'm going to rebrand this entire show, by the way. Or we could do a series of one-shots and just keep the formula that we have established for this podcast, but with a series of one-shots, one-time only looks at video games. We could do that before we get ourselves involved with a new long-form series.
Maybe, but it's just that, let me think now.
It can be exhausting.
It can be exhausting, especially if it's a game like Serious Sam.
And this was Serious Sam, the first encounter, which brings us to a swift end to this series. This is not, again, the end of the Mad Play podcast, just as much as Heretic, the end of it, wasn't the end of it all. It just means that we will come back with new games to play, and the same old structure of us paying as little attention as possible to the game we are playing in order to talk about general topics that we want to bring up. Politics to media and everything in between. So join us again next time for when we play something completely different and we drown it with our commentary.
Yeah, that sounds like an idea.
Now, if you'll excuse us, Devar needs his nappy time. He's a very tired boy. He works real hard for all of us, not as hard as I do when I edit these episodes with all the myriads and myriads of technical issues that we face. But he's still a good boy who needs his nappy time. Happy Pride Month from beyond time and space, I suppose.
Good night, take care, buddy. You take.
Why not?
Yeah.
Happy Pride Year for that
Be
matter.
happy with the life you're living, as long as you're not
Yes.
hurting others.
Trans rights are human rights, you alien scum.
Oh boy.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.